All right, guys, thanks for joining me. Today, we are going to be talking about how it went with Evolving Skies through our sales process to give you a full view of what you can see when you sell things in the Pokemon TCG and when you're investing in Pokemon in 2022. So I will lay this out for you to actually give you a true view of what actually went down and what you could expect when you go through this process. So guys, if you're new here, hit that subscribe, hit that notify, and as always, hit that like button. We can get 70 likes on this video. It's greatly appreciated and it helps us out a ton. So go ahead, hit that button before you leave. It'd be greatly appreciated. Also, other news down in the announcements below, there is a box break down below. That's right, we are doing our May box break and we are doing 2 booster boxes of Brilliant Stars. So if you want to get in on that trainer gallery, you want to have some fun with Brilliant Stars, be sure you go down below and click the link down to join us on that. Hopefully we'll be in our new room. My plan is to be in there in the next couple weeks. Have my new room set up, my studio, all my lighting right. Everything will be perfect finally, exactly how I wanted it. It's been a little bit of a process to get that done, but definitely starting to lay out like I want it. So without further ado, why don't we get right into the meat and potatoes of this particular video and switch over a bit. All right, guys, today you guys really want to know what happened with Evolving Skies. I know that that's why you're here. You want to know what the realistic look of selling a product is. And I'm going to start out by throwing up this little number right here, which is 104.68. Why do I throw that number up there? That is what we purchased Evolving Skies per booster box back in December. Now, it was $100 a booster box plus shipping plus tax. This was a total price per booster box. So full transparency, that's what we put into it in order to get them into our building. Now, the next thing everybody wants to know and the excitement is, I'm putting the lowest sale number. I did have some higher, but I wanted to use this low number to give you a realistic expectation of what you could see at lower numbers, which is $170. I'll throw that up next to me. That $170 is what we sold them for on TCG Player, and that, like I said, is the lower number. That's not the highest number. We sold some at $178, but $170 was the lowest price one that we sold, and I'm happy with that. That's exactly where I was hoping to get to. It's actually beyond where I was hoping to get to on a sale with this. But when I listed them, they were going up faster, so I just decided to move them up to try and get ahead of it. Now, everybody now would be investing channels would be throwing up this big happy number of this. That's right, 42% profit gain. Everybody got 42%, right? Yes. Wow, what a good deal. We did fantastic, guys. Celebrate. 42%. No, you didn't. Let's just be 100% honest, guys. A lot of investment channels and a lot of people don't like to go into the nitty gritty, which is, of course, the fees and the shipping costs that are associated with this product. So now let's get into the realistic market. We're going to scratch the 42% because that ain't what happened. And we're going to go ahead and talk about the next item on the list, which is this. Shipping. Yes, everybody likes to forget about shipping. It's a very necessary part of this unless you got some really good sales close by that you can walk them to them. But realistically, most sales that you do on TCG Player, eBay, and those kind of places are definitely going to have shipping involved. Now, if I had sold one box, the first box that I sold had a shipping fee of $15.85. It went to Arizona, and I have no idea why it was that expensive, but that was my first cost, was $15.85. Now, I sold some close by, and it came down to $6.75, roughly 78 cents for the sales on or shipping on those. The $9.65 was the average of the 30 boxes. So because I had 30 boxes, it averaged out to about $9.65. I had figured around $9.25. So I was a little bit off, but not horrible on my guess on the average. But if I had just sold one and it went to Arizona, I'd be screwed. My number would be extremely off by that because that would take another $6 off of this cost. So keep that in mind. When you're looking at low volume and you can't average out the costs of some of these things, it can get very expensive on the shipping side. It's something that people don't think about. They like to lowball that number and they really don't quite comprehend what's happening there. And definitely do your research on your shipping and always plan worst case. Try and find, throw in random zip codes all over the place, the furthest distance. And sometimes it's not the furthest distance. Sometimes it's just in the corner of the United States because the shipping routes are a little bit reduced compared to normal places. So just one of those things, a little caution here in the video to be sure that you check out. Next one I'm going to talk about here is the next thing, which is TCG player costs. So for their services, they charged me $22.41 to sell a $170 booster box. Now, I know a lot of people are sitting there going, wow, that seems like an incredible price. And it is. TCG Player and eBay are probably your two highest venues for selling stuff, but I picked these intentionally because in my mind, we were close to an Evolving Skies reprint, and I could have used Craigslist, I could have used Facebook Marketplace. There's a couple other places that you could have maybe used the Facebook links and things like that to sell these products, but that takes time. And I didn't think I had a month or two to make that decision. So I went with the lesser of two evils, which was the 2241, the higher percentage rate on my selling, but I knew the viewing was there in order to make that happen. Views are key when you're trying to sell something quickly, especially if you're worried about reprint to get out of something. Now, could I have waited longer and made more money in this? Absolutely. It's going for $188 now. Could I have pushed it up? Absolutely, I could have. But I felt secure. I had the margin I was looking for at this price. I'm okay selling. I think we did fantastic on this deal. So after this is taken out, I'm going to put on here another thing that most people don't talk about. Shipping supplies, labels, boxes, tapes. We've got filler and things like that to protect that booster box. And that's another $1.73 inside of this cost. So once again, it's another cost that you people don't consider when they're actually putting this on there. And luckily, I own a business already, so they come to my door and pick these things up. So I didn't have to pay to go drive to drop them off at the post office because my post office is nearly 10 miles away. So I'd have 20 miles of driving to go put that to a post office if it was me. So yeah, that's almost a gallon of fuel on my end in my pickup truck. So once again, it could have been another $4 that I got to evade just because I have a business, but definitely something to keep in consideration too if you're moving forward. So after it was all said and done, I am going to throw this number up here, which is $136. That's right. That's what we ended up with. That was our total take home after all the fees, costs, shipping, and everything else that went with it. So we went from that 42% gain all the way to a 30% gain because of that. We lost 12% of our income because of fees, shipping, and shipping supplies. Once again, you could have lost more if you were thinking of having to pay for gas to go drop these off. Granted, you could have maybe split it between several of these, but I didn't sell all of these all at once. They were spread out over a couple weeks, almost 3 weeks of sales in order to sell that. So I would have still been taking multiple trips back and forth. So just another one of them things to consider if you are in a rural area or fair distance away from your post office. So once again, is this a good value? Did it do what I want? Yes, we were shooting for about a 25% gain on this. I was actually ready to sell this at 160. By the time I got my listings and everything pulled out of storage, got everything ready to go, it had already crossed that point and was well past it. So I had a great opportunity to sell it for a little bit more. But overall, this is what I wanted to show you guys, is these numbers right here are the true values of what you're looking at and how much you have to sell things for when you purchase them at even $100 to make a fractional amount of income on this item. So once again, these things are just things that we need to discuss and look at when you're talking about investments. And it doesn't matter if it's this big booster box or if it goes all the way down to a little mini tin. These are all things that do start to add up rather quickly and you forget about it. And before long, you're going backwards just because of the fact that you do not actually think about these little costs. So like I said, that's what I want to talk to you about on this part of it. So now I'm going to switch back to the center of my screen. All right, I'm back in center. I know I'm just kind of moving around. I like giving them more room over here to be able to put these items up. So here we go. This is what we're looking at when we're seeing these things. I wanted to just break this down and go over it. The other thing I want to talk about is what makes the determination on what actual service I use to actually sell things. Now, I've got quite a bit of things listed on Craigslist right now. I got quite a bit on Facebook on different marketplaces like Pokemon World and places like that. I also am considering, and it's a big consideration, making my own website potentially to be able to put these items up and see if I can get organic grow or selling of these things. Because if I sell them on my own webpage, I don't need to sell them at $170. I could have sold this at $165 and still made more income because of that factor, made equivalent income, which means better value for you guys. You're not buying it at market value, or whoever buys it, if it's another person outside finds my site, then they could get this at a better value because I don't need to make as much in order to get the same profit margin out of it. When I'm shooting for a profit margin, definitely gives me that opportunity. So once again, guys, I just wanted to go over these kind of things and definitely have this discussion with you. Definitely watch for these things, whether it's a tin, whether it's a single card. That's one thing that people don't realize even on singles is, you know, we might be listing a single at $3.50, but realistically after shipping and everything's done, we're only ending up with $1.50, and sometimes we're making 10-20 cents per card depending on the actual playability of it. So there's some opportunities there, but once again, it can get eaten away or eroded rather quickly when it comes down to it. So just keep these things in mind. These are things that I wanted to bring up to you guys when you're in your investment journey with your Pokemon investing in 2022. Definitely trying to help you out and move you forward and give you the full transparency of what we're doing on more and more of these items. This was a big ticket item, so it was a fantastic way to break that down for you guys. It definitely show piece for piece what we actually took home after the sale of this item. So once again, if this is some information that's interesting to you and you want to keep up with this kind of information, hit that subscribe, hit that notify, and as always, guys, before you leave, hit that like button. It's greatly appreciated if you could hit that like button before you leave. It helps us out a ton, so please hit that before you leave and helps us moving along in this algorithm. Otherwise, if you do like this kind of content, as always, I'll put up these two videos up over here for your entertainment afterwards, and we will see you next time here on Northwoods TCG.